Hey everybody, Moses Frost here, and I'm coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, where today I am teaching another day of Sec 588 for the SANS Institute. That's the cloud penetration testing class. Anyway, today's news article that I wanted to discuss was something from earlier this week, and that was the fact that Apache Tomcat had a pretty critical vulnerability, and there was some interesting, let's just say, questions about it. Now, first of all, what is Apache Tomcat? So for those that maybe have never seen it, used it, etc., this is a very popular, or was a very popular web application server. So if you were running a Java app, a Groovy app, Scala, something that ran on the JVM, Tomcat was your vehicle to get it to go on basically to a web server. So you'd point your web server, didn't matter which one, to the Tomcat process, and then Tomcat would run your what they call the servlet, which is basically an a Java bit of code that would execute in reference to whatever application you're running. In the early days of the internet, let's just say year 2000 to 2010, many of these Apache Tomcat systems were actually running on Windows. So the stack would be Apache on Windows, Java on Windows, Tomcat on Windows, Windows OS. Now you probably wonder, what applications today would still even be doing that? Well, there's some older legacy applications that they're just not going to rewrite that still run that way. So you can imagine a cross-platform app that's supported on Windows, or older versions of enterprise software did it, older versions of certain software packages that you may even know did it. So it wouldn't be surprising for me to find today Windows Tomcat on internal networks. Schools, a lot of school systems had this, a lot of enterprises had this. So my concern, and I'm going to explain the problem statement in a minute. My concern is that while on the public internet, a lot of the configurations for Apache Tomcat may not be super relevant because you may not be able to find them, et cetera, it's really in internal networks where I'm very concerned. So let me give you a scenario. The way the POC works, so there was a vulnerability that affects Tomcat 9, Tomcat 10, Tomcat 11. And that seems like a small fraction of the Tomcat servers, but that's actually kind of a wide berth. I mean, the most popular ones were 7.5 and 8, but 9, 10, 11 are pretty popular as well. In that scenario, what tends to happen is you may have these older internal applications out there that are running configurations that could be vulnerable. It's hard to tell because it's internal, right? So there are some catches to this. First of all, the default Tomcat page has to be available. And on the internet, you're not going to see that. Well, I hope on the internet, you're not going to see that. Hard to tell. You might have to go to like Shodan or Criminal IP or one of these things to look for maybe non-default ports that are announcing Tomcat version strings and things like that. And then you'd have to check for the default pages. So that's step one. Step two is you have to have your session storage for session ID set to the file system in a writable format. And there's some other very basic things you have to do. And if you set the configuration in that particular, if you line everything up correctly, then this vulnerability, what it does is it writes a put request over to your server. And then that put request eventually can be recalled by session ID. It deserializes the payload, and the payload executes remote code execution. This sounds like a last series of steps. Right? There's a lot of steps going on here. Like, is this a viable path for execution? And I would say that it could be, right? There could be many reasons why an application would have to be configured this way. And there could be administrators that are novices at Tomcat, because Tomcat's a bit weird, that could have left default pages up and caused this, right? There's a reason that these researchers figured this out. So to say that there is not a concern would be misleading. The concern may not be on the wide open internet, but to me, legacy enterprises really have to pay attention to this bug and think about patching it. Now, patches are out, so in theory, it shouldn't be a problem, but maybe we should look and see.